Look around you and observe the systems, the infrastructure, lack or abundance of it, the predominant culture, and more. All of these are a product of the collective mind of those around you. The built world is first and foremost a product of the mind. On a personal level, creativity, strength, innovation, and other immaterial substances are all also the product of the mind. And so, when things go wrong, the first place to look at should be the mind. In a prosperous kingdom, there was a young king named David. He was beloved by his people for his kindness and fairness. However, despite his success, David often felt overwhelmed by the responsibilities of leadership. He wanted to be a great king, but he found himself doubting his decisions and questioning his abilities. One night, after a particularly challenging day, David sought counsel from his trusted advisor, an elderly sage. The sage listened carefully and then said, "A leader's strength comes not from his position, but from his understanding of himself. Before you can lead others, you must first lead yourself." The words struck deep within David's heart. He realized that he had been so focused on ruling the kingdom that he had neglected his own inner leadership. In a moment of clarity, David decided to spend time in solitude away from the court to reflect on his values, fears, and desires. During this period of introspection, David learned much about himself, his strengths, his weaknesses, and his true purpose. When he returned to the throne, he led with renewed confidence and clarity. His people noticed the change and admired him even more for his wisdom and self-assuredness. King David's story invites us to consider an essential truth: we are who we are on the inside. Our ability to lead, to grow, and to face the challenges of life depends on the depth of our understanding of ourselves. In this video, we look at how to live from the inside out for a more fulfilling life. We are who we are on the inside. David's journey into self-reflection reminds us of a fundamental principle: our external world is often a reflection of our internal state. How we handle external challenges, manage relationships, and navigate the pressures of life is deeply influenced by who we are on the inside. Think about the moments when you felt the most overwhelmed or uncertain. What was happening within you at that time? Our ability to manage the stresses of life is tied to our inner resilience and self-awareness. Neuroscientific research suggests that individuals with a stronger sense of self and emotional regulation are better equipped to handle stress and make decisions. Epigenetics, the study of how behaviors and environments influence the expression of genes, further supports this idea. Research shows that our mental state, whether we live from a place of peace and clarity or stress and confusion, can alter the expression of our genes. This means that the way we process our internal world doesn't just impact us, it can affect our descendants. The 100-year effect illustrates how the emotional and psychological patterns we establish can ripple through generations. Just as David's inner transformation allowed him to rule more wisely, our own inner growth can shape the future of our lineage. So, who are you on the inside when no one else is watching? How does your inner state influence the way you live and make decisions? We all risk forgetting who we are. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to forget who we are at our core. Like David, who became consumed with the duties of his kingdom, we can become so engaged with external demands that we lose sight of ourselves. We begin to live from the outside in, reacting to circumstances instead of responding from a place of inner clarity. As humans, we are naturally shaped by both our nature, our genetic predispositions, and nurture, our environment and experiences. But when we fail to take time for introspection, we risk becoming overly influenced by external factors, social expectations, cultural pressures, and the opinions of others. Over time, this can lead to an internal disconnect, where we no longer recognize ourselves. Psychology refers to this as self-alienation, where individuals lose touch with their true identity and values. This disconnection can result in feelings of dissatisfaction, anxiety, and even depression. Just as David felt overwhelmed by his royal responsibilities, we too can feel weighed down by life when we forget to nurture our inner selves. Consider this fundamental question: have you ever felt like you were living a life that wasn't truly your own? What external pressures are shaping your life today, and how are they affecting your sense of self? Introspection and soul-searching are important. David's decision to step away from the pressures of the throne to reflect on his inner world was a powerful act of self-leadership. It is a reminder that introspection, taking time to soul-search and look inward, is not just a luxury but a necessity. Science supports the idea that regular introspection can have profound benefits for our mental and physical well-being. Mindfulness practices, which encourage self-awareness and reflection, have been shown to reduce stress, improve focus, and enhance emotional regulation. By looking inward and understanding our motivations, desires, and fears, we create the space for personal growth. Epigenetics also shows us that the act of introspection can have lasting effects, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. The choices we make to live consciously and align with our inner values can influence our genetic expression in ways that affect our grandchildren. In the same way that David's newfound clarity positively impacted his kingdom, our introspection can leave a legacy of resilience, emotional health, and purpose for generations to come. When was the last time you spent time in deep reflection? What have you learned about yourself, and how has it changed the way you approach life? The power of alignment, living from the inside out. Living from the inside out means aligning our external actions with our inner truth. It's about making decisions based on our values rather than reacting to external pressures or expectations. King David's transformation is a perfect example of the power of alignment. Once he understood himself more fully, his leadership became more effective, and his decisions were driven by wisdom rather than fear. Modern research in psychology supports the importance of living in alignment with one's values. When we live authentically, we experience greater life satisfaction, mental health, and resilience. This is because authenticity allows us to act from a place of internal strength, rather than being swayed by the ever-changing tides of external circumstances. By aligning his inner self with his external actions, David became a king who not only ruled but inspired. We too can inspire those around us, whether in our families, workplaces, or communities, when we live from a place of inner integrity. Are your current actions and decisions aligned with your core values? Where might there be a disconnect, and how can you bring more alignment into your life? The role of relationships in knowing ourselves. Just as David sought the wisdom of his advisor, our relationships play a critical role in helping us know ourselves. The people we surround ourselves with can either reflect our true selves back to us or reinforce the masks we wear to please others. Neuroscience shows that human beings are wired for connection, and our brains thrive in environments of healthy relationships. These relationships provide the space for honest reflection and growth. However, if we surround ourselves with people who encourage us to live inauthentically, we risk losing touch with who we truly are. Epigenetically, positive relationships can also influence the expression of genes linked to stress and resilience. When we build a supportive community, we create an environment that promotes well-being, not just for ourselves, but for future generations. So, who in your life reflects your true self back to you? How do your relationships support or hinder your journey of self-discovery? Like King David, each of us is on a journey to better understand ourselves. We may face moments of doubt where we lose touch with our inner selves, but these are opportunities for growth. By living from the inside out, understanding who we are and aligning our actions with that truth, we can lead more fulfilled, authentic lives. Remember, the process of knowing ourselves is not just for our benefit. As science and epigenetics suggest, the inner work we do today can have a ripple effect on future generations. The decisions we make to live authentically and consciously can leave a lasting legacy of strength, resilience, and purpose for those who come after us. What steps will you take today to live more from the inside out, and how will that choice impact not only your life, but the lives of future generations?